Well, Mary, it's that time of year.
It is.
It's the holidays.
And isn't it fun? It's chilly out, and this is the time of the year where we always have so many goodies. So many things that bring back memories.
And I've had people approach us about doing an ethnic cooking show.
Oh!
So, today we are going to honor our ethnic background, and we're going to start out making LEFSE, and that is going to be honoring Mary's Norwegian DNA, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Have you ever made LEFSE?
I did once at a cooking class.
Okay. And it's basically flour and potatoes, right?
Yes, but you have to get special potatoes, and they have to be fresh #1 russets. Make the best LEFSE.
Okay.
You can try them with other, but it's not going to work out for you.
Okay, then this is important, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and there is no fish in LEFSE, right?
No, and we will not be doing lutefisk today.
No.
Unfortunately, the cow tank that fills out of the spring has been running a little bit slow because it was dry last year.
Yeah.
So no lutefisk.
Okay. So then besides doing our Norwegian DNA, we are going to honor my Scot roots.
Oh, what's good?
Well, what do you think the national dish of Scotland is?
I have no idea.
Have you ever heard of haggis?
Oh, yes, I have actually had haggis.
Well, I had done some research, and it said that 100% true haggis is actually illegal in this country.
Is that because of the variety of parts that they use in making haggis?
Yes.
And what goes into haggis, Nancy?
Well, traditional haggis is made out of barley and oats.
Okay.
And then what they call sheep offal.
Okay, I know what part of that is, but how much of the offal do they use? Just the stomach?
And the lungs.
Oh, okay.
And it's like any parts that isn't being used in something else goes into the haggis. And I think it's the sheep lungs that are actually illegal in this country.
Oh, see, I always thought it was like kidney and heart and liver and...
It's any of those like organ meats and things. Yeah.
Okay, cooked in the stomach.
Yes, in the sheep stomach. They put all this in a sheep stomach.
And do they like boil it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Well, let's see. Scotland isn't noted for its great cuisine. And they can't grow very much there. It's pretty wet and damp.
Yes, and they do a lot with sheep.
Yeah, and so that's why it's got the rye and everything. So that'll be 2 parts of our DNA. And then we have another part that is really big around this county, and that is Mary's Polish roots.
That's right.
And so today we are also going to make a batch of, now you say it because I never say it right.
Makufka.
Oh! Nancy! Wait a minute! I thought we were doing a cooking show here. Holy Hannah, what's going on here? Where are we?
I don't know.
What happened to our LEFSE?
I don't know.
What about the haggis?
We're like in another dimension.
I know. How did we get here? What did you do? What did you say?
I don't know, Mary.
What were we talking about, Nancy?
Well, let's see.
Okay.
We were going to make LEFSE.
We were going to do the LEFSE thing because we're cooking, and now we're cooking.
Right, now we're cooking.
We are cooking.
And then I talked about making
haggis. Okay, we talked about the haggis, a good heart-healthy meal.
Right, and then we talked about, now you've got to say it, I never said it right, the Polish dish.
Oh, my favorite, Makufka! What? Wait a minute.
This is December.
It was snowing, Nancy. When I drove up to our remote studio, it was snowing. What is going on? I just don't understand.
But this is kind of nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. Look at the green grass. I'm so envious.
But, I think we're in some other kind of dimension again.
Well, what's happening? I don't understand how we're getting here.
I don't know, but wait. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call my son Franz. He's in the Air Force, and he's kind of a techie.
Is he in Secret Service Air Force?
Well, he works with a lot of secret stuff, so I'm going to give him a call.
Give him a call.
And see what he says here.
Will he answer?
I got his secret number here.
Oh, okay. It's all secret.
Okay. All right. Hey, Franz.
Hi, Franz. How are you?
Mary and I need a little help here. Yeah. It's like we are in some kind of another dimension.
We're in the time trap.
Yeah, we're like we went through a wormhole or a black hole or something.
What's the Air Force doing that's super secret while we're trying to do a cooking show?
Yeah, we need to know. I mean, we're like, I don't know, it's a dimension that's kind of nice. It's got grass and blue sky.
It looks like New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
We're just somewhere that we shouldn't be. So I guess I need to know what we have to do to get out of it.
Is there a secret?
Yeah, yeah. What were we doing? Well, we were going to do a cooking show, and we were going to start out making LEFSE.
We were in your mom's kitchen.
Yeah. And then we were going to do HAGGIS. Don't make those sounds, Scott, people love it.
Haggis is supposed to be good, Franz.
And then we were going to make that Polish dish.
My favorite, Makufka.
Now where are we, Mary?
Let's see if Franz is still on the line.
Franz?
Did we lose him?
I don't have any bars.
Oh.
Whatever kind of dimension we're in now,
Are
we
we
have no bars.
We must be in Buffalo County. We get transported to Buffalo County. What happened to the grass?
I don't know, Mary. And
And it's dark out. Now I'm
this is
scared.
really annoying because I've got stuff to do.
So
You've
do
got
I.
Stuff to do.
What happened to the cooking show?
I can't be messing around in some other kind of dimension right now.
We cannot cook in the dark.
Well,
we
and
just
I've got stuff to do. I mean, you've got stuff to do at home.
I have a lot of stuff to do outside.
And how are you going to explain this to Bruce when you don't show up for chores?
Well, he's not going to understand.
No.
We've been traveling through space.
Yes, we've been. Yeah.
Nobody will believe us.
I know it. This is just too strange. And this is really annoying.
Well, it's a disappointment.
It is. It is. Because, we were getting all set to start out by making LEFSE to, because you're Norwegian
We've got heritage, you bet.
And then we were going to do HAGGIS for my heritage. I know not everybody's jumping up and down about that one. But then we were going to do Makufka.
Nancy! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Well, we made it back, Mary. We made it back. We came out of that black hole we were
Oh my
in.
goodness! That was
And
I'm faint. I'm faint.
Both of us have things to do. We can't be ranging around in some other, time. And
It must be a different camera. It must be a different
that's
camera. Something went on.
we still don't know. But you know what, Mary? Now it's going to be too late for us to do our baking show.
Oh, nuts.
We're not going to have time to make LEFSE and HAGGIS.
And let's not forget the Makufka.
I have an idea, Mary. Since it's cold and we can't finish out our baking, I think that what we'll do is we'll just do a little kitchen session here.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since we've done a kitchen cooking show.
Yes, and I've got some pretty old, neat, interesting pictures that I've kind of been accumulating over the years. So why don't we set up and look at those? And
That
I
sounds
think
like a
people will
great
enjoy
idea.
that. And, it's so good to be back.
I feel much better. Settle down a little bit.
Yes. Well, if we're all settled down again, we don't want that happening again.
No, we do not.
Jeez. Isn't that annoying when you get into a black hole like that?
I wasn't really quite sure, but I'm glad. I like your kitchen.
Oh yeah,
I feel better.
I do too. So let's look at some pictures here that I've kind of been picking up here in the last year, and they're just some fun ones to look at. This first picture,
Oh, goodness.
yeah, this was taken in Wickham Valley in the early 1900s, and it was the Mike Scraw barn, and everybody is helping to put it up.
Wow, that is quite a work crew. Holy, how many guys are on
I don't know,
that?
I've never counted because there's a whole bunch down front here too.
Sitting down.
Sitting in what would be the hay mound part.
You know, Nancy, those barns, you still see so many around the country.
Yep.
They were built to take it, you
Yep.
know?
Yep, they were works of really great construction.
Yes, and most of them were put together all with wood.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't building with any plastic, were they?
No, they weren't.
And I don't think they were worried about OSHA here.
The way those folks are sitting along that roof line, probably not. And you know, and then they filled those barns by hand.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
And now I'm not sure if that barn is still there. This picture came off of Vitus Campa's Facebook page, Silesians of Trempealeau County, and he had that on there that summer. But I thought that was really an interesting look at how they used to build the old barns.
Oh, definitely. And they went up in a hurry because it looks like
Well,
there's 50 guys working on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
barn.
you get that many people, it doesn't take long. And someone said, you can't see it here, but there was a couple of kegs of beer off to the side somewhere.
Oh, I bet you they kept themselves very, very well hydrated.
Right, that's important. Now, this one is a really old picture of, can you guess what town this is?
No, I've got to take a closer look.
This is actually Arcadia.
Yeah, look at that.
Yep.
Look at that.
And I'm pretty sure that it is looking west.
I would think so because
Yeah.
it kind of drops down a little bit.
Yep.
And I bet you that's where the riverbed was.
And you can see the street was just dirt.
Yes.
Yes. And you don't see any cars there. I think this picture, it wasn't dated, but I think it was probably around from the 1880s or 1890s.
Okay.
And that people were getting around with horsepower and, wooden
wagons.
wheels. Yeah.
Wagons. And every building's got a chimney. They were heating
Yep.
with wood.
Yep.
And that's why fires were so prevalent in the day.
That's right. Well, yeah.
I mean, you heat with wood, your building's made with wood.
Yeah. When everything is made with wood and you've got coal and you've got cinders and you've got sawdust and wood.
And no insurance, man.
Probably not.
Probably not.
So that was downtown Arcadia. That was about the oldest picture I think I've really seen. Now this is also a picture from Arcadia. And someone that knows things about old cars can probably date this. It's a Buick.
It's a Buick.
Doesn't it look like
That is a fancy schmancy car.
it's brand new in this picture, I
Oh.
guess.
And it looks like everybody's got a suit and a tie. They're
And a hat.
hats.
Yep. And those old cars, you could really they had a lot of room.
In that they have rubber tires.
Yeah, so this had to be like, probably in the 1920s.
Oh, the Roaring 20s.
Yeah,
Everybody was dapper.
and this car was owned by a Mr. Holman, Hohman.
Okay, and where was he from?
Well, these guys are all from Arcadia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the only other one that they had identified on here was the gentleman on the right in the black suit, and it said that he was a corporal. It didn't say
Oh.
which one, but it was a corporal.
A corporal.
Yep.
You know, those guys almost look like gangsters. Wasn't
Yeah.
the 20s the era of the gangsters?
Right.
And wasn't it rumored that, like the Wamandee, Dodge, Arcadia area was a little bit suspicious now and again?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe these guys they look like some of the more prosperous citizens of Arcadia.
The businessmen.
Right.
But maybe, those businessmen.
Yeah, you don't know how they made that money.
You never know. There was a lot of black market eggs in those days.
But that was a beautiful car.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I wonder what I bet there's a model, exact just to that in a museum or in some rich guy's garage,
Probably.
that's probably worth a pretty penny.
Oh, I would imagine. So, and even in those days, I mean, you know, cars were an expensive thing for most
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. But if you had the money, then this is what you would have.
You were in
This
business.
beautiful, and somebody that's watching this that knows old cars, they can tell us if they know what year, what model that is. But it does look brand spanking new.
It does. It's
doesn't it?
awfully shiny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to drive that thing on snow, especially going up Irvin's Coulee. Oh goodness, this
Merry
is fun.
Christmas.
Yes, talk about a Christmas sweater.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
It is. Now, do you know kind of the ethnicity behind this?
There was no information attached to this picture.
That is just wild.
Yeah, I don't know where it was taken. I'm not sure when. I mean, it looks like they have decorated that tree with tin cans.
It does.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
this is the very first talking Christmas tree at a mall
It could be.
of the day. Or maybe, you know, if they had like the market or whatever
Yeah.
they called it, that could be historically the first talking Christmas tree.
And I have a feeling it looks like it's made out of strips of paper.
Oh, it does.
I bet that was highly flammable.
Oh, could you imagine? It has a pretty star at the top.
Yeah.
And some horns
Yeah.
and some
Like
bells.
a snowman, it looks like. But it does look like some of the decorations are tin cans.
That's incredible. Well, you know, it was shiny.
Yeah, yeah. So I always thought, you know, maybe I could do that for Christmas sometime.
A living Christmas
Yeah,
tree.
living, walking Christmas tree. That
Did you
is
ever
different.
go up to the mall in Eau Claire, like in the 70s and 80s?
Oh, I think so.
Where they had, it was Bruce the Spruce. He was the talking Christmas tree.
No.
Yes, they had a talking Christmas tree.
Was that something that the DNR foresters did?
I have no idea. I have no idea, but I remember it had the big eyes that would blink, and it was like having a giant doll. And then of course there was a pre-recording, but yes, Bruce the Spruce. Yes.
Cool.
The talking Christmas tree from the old London Square Mall. That complex is all gone now.
Yeah, that's right. Things move on, don't
That's
they?
right. History at its best. What do we have here, Miss Nancy?
Pine Creek.
Look at that.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that follow our spin-off show, Name That Road,
Okay.
remember we took, one of our roads was Pine Creek Ridge Road.
Yes, it was.
And we wound up down in Pine Creek, in the village.
Exactly. We took a look at the beautiful church.
Yeah. And since then, Jim Losinski sent me this picture, and he told me something I didn't know. There were actually 3 different of those Sacred Heart churches.
Really?
Yeah, there was, first 2 were up on the hill above the graveyard. The first one, he said, was made out of logs, and then they replaced it with a wooden one.
Okay.
And when they decided to build down and you know, remake it into the nice brick one that's there today, that one actually got moved somewhere and became like somebody's granary or something.
See, there you go. Our ancestors recycling buildings like you
You
to get
bet.
out. We
You
could have
bet.
learned a lot from them in the day.
Now, it's interesting because, like you say, you can see the steeple of the church in the
Yes.
background. And then there's like the road running east. And the first building you see there on the right, that was the public school.
Oh, I didn't know that there was a school in Pine Creek.
Well, we had wondered about on the opposite side of the road, that brick house there, remember?
Yes, we
Yep.
did. We talked about that.
And that would be kind of where those trees are. And Jim Losinski said, no, that was somebody's house, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that the public school, which is no longer there, was on the right.
Wow, it looks like that road is very similar to the road that's there today.
Yeah, except I don't know if it at that time if it went up over the hill into Dodge
Okay.
or it came over one of the other hills. But if you're going to go between Dodge and Pine Creek, you had to go over a hill,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. It was kind of in its own little world.
Yeah. So we don't really see the bustling downtown Pine Creek here. But I would assume that it had, a couple of bars and
Oh, definitely.
general store, plus they had a parochial school at the Catholic school, so.
Well, and around that farm, it's a farm that's on the left.
Yeah.
That looks like a pretty tidy little farm.
Yeah.
Looks like they may even have some pastures, Nancy.
Yeah, with
Pastures
cows.
with cows. Yes,
Imagine
definitely.
that. So leaving Pine Creek,
Oh, look
we
at this.
went
a
over the
steel
hill
horse.
here. This is a Dodge.
Okay.
And this was a steam engine, and this again was around 1900, 1905.
Okay.
I think what's interesting here, if you look, most of the people there aren't wearing shoes.
I noticed that right away. Bare feet
Yep.
and big mustaches.
Yep.
And I would assume it's the little boys that are barefooted because
Yeah.
the men,
Well, most of them look like they have shoes on, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, it probably was a month without an R. So nobody wore shoes.
Why? You don't want to wear them out.
That's right. Shoes were a hot commodity.
And these steam engines, I mean, they were just real beasts, weren't they?
Well, I can't imagine having to operate that. The danger factor with everything being heavy
Well, they did
steel.
blow up sometimes.
Oh, yeah. It's like a giant pressure canner.
Yep.
Hmm.
And when they first came out, they were such an innovation because you could even hire them to do some plowing for you.
Oh, yeah. And you didn't have to worry about managing those teams of horses.
Yeah, because that was a lot slower.
Yes.
Yeah, oxen and horses tend to be slower than something like this.
Well, and they also call that the period of when man tamed the land.
Yeah, I needed it, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was
Needed
the
a
thought.
taming.
Yeah. That you had to get your land under control. Now, this is in Independence. And this is
Oh.
a bar, and all it said on this picture was it was Sura's bar.
Surahs.
Sura's. So, and then there was a lot of discussion on Facebook because this picture also ran on the Silesians of Trempealeau County.
Okay.
People were trying to figure out what bar it was, where it was. And I don't think that we ever reached a consensus. Somebody thought it might be where B6 was.
Okay.
And somebody else said, no, this was where the Eagle Bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that one has really cool woodwork.
Yes.
And so that one we could still potentially check out because that one still is a bar in use.
Yeah. And we think this is from around, maybe 1904. And it's got to be in the winter, wouldn't you say?
I would say everybody looks like they're pretty bundled up.
Yeah, especially the guy up front there in his fur coat.
Yes, definitely. Fur collars.
Yep.
Fur collars, fur coat.
And then there is, on the right, there is a poster for a dance. But even though I zoomed way on it, I couldn't find a date or anything.
I wonder if that would have been at the what's now the Opera House.
It could be. It didn't, we couldn't read it. But do you wonder if you went in there, what language you would order your beer in?
Probably Polish.
Probably.
Probably Polish. Most definitely.
Yep. But I just thought that was a pretty interesting looking crew.
It is.
Yeah. And you can just make out on the front of the bar, kind of in the middle, down at the bottom, there was one of the spittoons.
Look at that.
Yep.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think those are allowed in bars anymore. I mean, it's been a while since I've been in a bar, but
Probably.
I don't think that's allowed
Right.
in a bar anymore.
And I always wondered who had the job of emptying them.
Oh, I don't know. But I do have a brass spittoon
Do you?
at my house that I use as a dry plant stand.
Oh, okay.
Because you can change it out and it's
Yeah.
pretty and,
Yeah.
it's a conversation piece.
It is, as long as it's not being used for its original purpose. And this would be relatives of yours. This is
Oh.
the John Bouch and his wife, who was, this is John Wallach. I'm sorry, John Wallach
Okay.
and his wife, Anna, who was a Bouch from home.
Okay.
And this was in 1921. And this is, I think it was their golden wedding anniversary. So that's
Oh.
50 years, I believe.
Yes.
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 Because some of the kids don't look like they're kiddos anymore.
No, everybody looks pretty grown up.
Yeah, and in the back row from left to right, it was Julia and John Mall, and then Agatha and Tom Gimsa, and then Tom and Rose Wallach.
Okay.
Then the middle row was Elizabeth Sensala and Frank Wallach, and Mary and John Wallach Jr., and Mary Winch, is that how they say it? W-I-N-C-H.
Yeah.
And sitting down front is Simon Sensala, and then the father here, John Wallach, and mother, Anna Bouch Wallach, and then Andrew Winch, which I would imagine was the husband of Mary.
Right. Yeah. Wow, what an awesome picture.
Yep.
And probably John and Elizabeth, too.
Yes.
Or Simon, excuse me. Elizabeth and Simon. Wow, that's an awesome picture. Where did you find that one?
That, too, as I recall, was on the Facebook. On
Vitus's page?
On Vitus's page. And it was such a good, clear picture. And you can see they got everybody in there to the studio and got this really nice family portrait.
Well, and those portraits they're amazing.
Yeah.
That they were able to do that at that time period.
So, you're related to the Wallachs?
Yes.
Okay, so here's another. I keep telling her she's related to everybody in
I am, and it's fun. We had a family reunion, all of Independence and half of Arcadia.
Do you know what town this might be? Well, I mean, it's pretty hard to tell because it's from way up in the sky.
That, I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, the road has changed dramatically since this was taken. This was 1938, and this was a aerial photo of Ettrick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So where the road goes through downtown Ettrick now, that was the original highway.
Okay.
And at some point, they had changed the highway, so it just kind of went bypassed Ettrick.
That's like the, like you said, bypass.
The Ettrick bypass, yes. But it does show Lake Chapultepec down there, kind of on the bottom left. And at that time, they had a woolen mill besides a regular type, feed and flour mill.
Yes, and then they also have a small runner rail.
Of the train?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that wasn't a real going success, but I think some of the rails probably were still there. And,
we looked at the buildings last year, the year before.
The depot was, I think it was the depot for the Ettrick and Northern is still there. But this is, they didn't really start doing these aerial shots until the 1930s. That's the first ones I've seen.
But it's kind of a cool piece of history.
Yeah.
Because you can see what it looked like then.
Right.
And how much it's changed.
Yeah, or not changed.
Exactly.
So that was Ettrick. And then this was up the road from Ettrick and Hague. This was Washington Coulee.
Washington Coulee. Okay.
That is right on the county line between Jackson County and Trempealeau County. It's past Hague on your way to Franklin.
Okay.
And it was back to the right, and that was Washington Coulee. And I just love the way, this must be the spring or something, because the kids aren't wearing big heavy coats, and they got baseball bats.
And the girls are in short dresses.
Yeah, it's a fun picture. And
it is.
Sometimes about the only way I can date pictures is by what people are wearing.
Okay.
Because, even back then, there were definitely fashion trends. So I would say this is probably from the early 1920s or before, because after that, the girls' hair dues changed.
Yep.
They started cutting off the hair and the long braids and giving them, the Prince Valiant look with the
Prince Valiant. That's funny.
And these girls are all still wearing their hair, long and back, probably in braids or something.
Well, definitely lots of bows.
Yep.
I see lots of bows and ribbons.
Yep, that was the big deal back then for girls.
Pigtails.
And I think they're pretty much all Norwegians.
Well,
as far as
and they look
background.
They look like farm kids because most of the little boys are in overalls.
Right. Yeah, this was very rural, and because some of the names are like Holden, and Rosendale,
Twesme.
yes, Stone,
Hanson.
Rogness,
And where's this one taken again?
Washington Cooley.
Okay, Washington Cooley.
Yeah. I don't believe the school is there anymore, but it was one of these schools that was like right smack on the border between Jackson and Trempealeau County. But I always thought this was a cool picture because it just showed you what people were wearing back then.
Oh,
and,
definitely.
yeah, what the kids were up to. And we'll move on here. Look at this.
Wow, this is what built a lot of what we have today.
This was a giant log jam, and this was actually up north from us in the Chippewa River.
Okay.
But some of you are ardent fans. Well, remember last year we did a program about logging.
Oh, we did. That's
Yeah.
right.
And we talked about the real rock stars of the whole logging group were the log drivers, and that's these guys here with their peavies.
And their sticks are going up against trees.
Yep.
Floating on water.
And what they had to do was, when they got a jam like this, they had to unjam it so the logs would float down the river to the mills. And so they wore these shoes that had big spikes on the bottom.
Oh my goodness.
So they could jump from log to log.
And that's where the log roll comes
Right.
in. The contest that you go up to Hayward
That's right.
every year to see the log rollers. And they are impressive. They've got some young men and women that can really spin those logs.
Yep.
But they don't have to worry about getting killed.
This was a very dangerous. I don't
Yes.
think they could get insurance for this.
Probably not today. I wonder what OSHA would have to say about real live log unjammers.
And I always wonder, what would make a person want to be a log driver? I mean, like I say, these were the rock stars,
Yes.
the race car drivers, or, that kind of persona. It must have been people that just like to live on the edge.
Well, and they probably made more than anybody else on the crew.
I hope so, because it
Yeah.
was very dangerous. If you slipped down off one of those logs, you were either crushed or drowned.
Yeah,
You
Ball
wasn't
game's
nice.
over.
Yep, that was it.
not for me.
So
I'm lucky if I can keep my balance on a good day.
Now this is interesting. This was a
Ooh.
picture I found. The guy's name is not spelled correctly here. Oscar H. Anderson. And he said that he was on the last log drive on the Black River to La Crosse.
Wow.
So in his day, he apparently had been a log driver.
And he
maybe.
survived.
He's 85 in this picture. I don't know. There was no date on it, but I thought, well, cool. Some of them apparently survived.
And you hope he lived in a mansion and didn't have to work the rest of his life after he
kidding.
retired.
I bet after doing that, everything just seemed really blah, don't you?
I would think so.
And boring, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He probably had used up all his adrenaline back then with the log drives.
Unless he drove a team up and over the saddle down in
Whistler's Pass.
Whistler's
Yep,
Pass.
yep.
He could have been a driver on a team. That would have been pretty exciting. Oh, look at this
Now,
one.
do you recognize that bluff in back of these dudes?
I have to look here quick. No, I do not.
This, I was told, was 1873, and the bluff in the background, bless you, is Granddad's Bluff in La Crosse.
Oh, okay.
So as you can see, at this time, La Crosse still had plenty of room for expansion.
Oh, wow, yeah. It did. Then I wonder if that's the original road going up.
I don't know. It's just it's a great picture. We don't know who the people are here, but when my ancestors came up the river to La Crosse is where they got off the riverboat, and that was in 1853. Quite a while, 30 years before this. But they said that at that time there were 3 houses in La Crosse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh! I'm interested in this guy's hat, because that's an Englishman's
Yeah,
hat,
it looks like a
isn't
pit
it?
helmet, doesn't
Yes,
it? Yeah.
it does. It does.
So, gosh, it sounds like we're almost out of time here. But I got one more picture to show you here,
look
Mary.
at that. Santa Claus. We should give a shout out to all the Santas that spent their holidays bringing treats to families. There's a lot of Santa Clauses in our area Great job, guys. But please don't do this next year at Christmas in front of the little kiddos.
Right, smoking Lucky Strike. Santa says this is the thing to do.
Oh my goodness, hopefully he wasn't doling them out as stocking stuffers.
I hope not. What a terrible thought. Well, we have to roll things up here.
Oh.
And what is this a picture of, you think?
Well, I think this is Makufka.